viewers, welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Jagmani from Department of Computer Science, Aryabhatta College, University of Delhi. So in this series of algorithm analysis and design, we are presently going through the topic of amortized analysis and particularly dynamic tables. In our previous lectures, we have seen that whenever we try to perform the amortized analysis for a dynamic table data structure, we need to coin the strategy for expansion and contractions. So what was the strategy till this point? That we are going to expand the table to double of its capacity whenever it is full, and we are going to contract the table when this particular table is going to be half full. Now in the previous lecture we have also seen that there is a problem with this strategy. Although the strategy is we can say seems quite reasonable, but what is happening here is we can say that after an expansion not enough deletions are being paid, not enough deletions are being taken place which are required to pay for a contraction, and similarly after a contractions not enough insertions are being taken place to pay for the expansion. So this is what the glitch, or this is what the we can say bottleneck here is. After expansion we need to have some deletions which will definitely pay for the contraction, and after contractions we need to perform enough insertions which will pay for expansion. So this should be the strategy, and this is the drawback that this condition has not been taken care in the previous strategy. So actually this even the strategy, it seems good, but it is going to trigger many expansion and contractions. So what is the solution then? So solution says we need to improve upon my potential function which is alpha t. So here we are not allowing this potential function alpha t to drop below 1 by 2, because the moment it is going to drop below 1 by 2, that means the table is half full. We are actually expanding the table. So we are actually contracting the table. So basically it is not coming below 1 by 2. So now we need to continue to double the size when an object is inserted into a full table. That means we are set with the strategy of expansion, that yes, we are okay that whenever an object is going to be inserted into a full table, we are going to double the size. But in order to allow my alpha t to drop below 1 by 2, we need to make sure that the contraction of the table does not happen when alpha t touches 1 by 2. That means when the table is half full, we are not going to allow the table to contract. That means we will wait for some more deletions to happen so that further contraction can take place. So we are going to contract the table when deletion causes alpha going to be less than 1 by 4. So basically now what is happening here, my potential which is alpha t is, we can say oscillating between the value 1 by 4 on the lower bound and 1 on the upper bound. So 1 by 4 less than equals to alpha t less than equals to 1. This is going to be one condition here. Now with this condition we have to have a modified potential function, obviously. So now my strategy for potential function or for calculation of potential function says whenever my potential function is greater than equals to 1 by 2, phi of t, whenever my alpha is greater than equals to 1 by 2, which is load factor, my phi of t is equals to 2 into num of t minus size of t, and this is what we have fixed the standard earlier. But earlier we have seen that what are we going to do? We are going to say that this is going to be the potential function for all the conditions. Here it is not like that. This is the potential function only when alpha is greater than equals to 1 by 2. For alpha less than 1 by 2, the potential function is going to be size of t by 2 minus num of t. So, now my load factor alpha is going to oscillate between 1 by 4 and 1. This is actually kind of we can say my new strategy, that I have changed the potential function which is going to be different for the situations when the load factor alpha is greater than equals to 1 by 2 and the situation where the load factor alpha is less than 1 by 2, the potential function or the formula for the potential function is going to be different. So, this is going to we can say take care of the situation that that was the situation of too frequent we can say contractions and expansion which was happening. Now, see, when are we going to analyze this situation or this kind of potential function for insertion and deletion? Now, see what is happening. We need to take care of some 3-4 conditions. Let us say we are going to divide our operations into insertion and deletion. So, what is happening? In insertion we can have some 3 categories. When alpha was less than 1 by 2 and after ith operation it remained less than 1 by 2. When alpha was greater than 1 by 2 before ith operation, it remained greater than 1 by 2 after the ith operation also. And the third situation, when alpha was less than equals to 1 by 2 before ith operation, but whenever you are performing an insertion, that means after ith operation, where ith operation is my insertion operation, it changes the category and now my load factor is greater than 1 by 2. So, all the 3 kind of we can say conditions we need to look upon, along with the scene that which condition is going to trigger an expansion. So, too many things we need to take care here. Similarly, in deletion we will be seeing what is the situation of alpha before performing the deletion, what is the situation of alpha after performing the deletion. Is the alpha is going to change the category. So, here by category I means earlier it was greater than 1 by 2 and now it is less than 1 by 2, because now we have a different potential function calculation for these two categorization, where alpha is greater than equals to 1 by 2 and where alpha is less than 1 by 2. Okay, now let us try to analyze all these conditions one by one. Now, taking the examples of insertion first, let us say my ith operation is an insertion operation and the possible condition is alpha I minus 1, that means the load factor alpha was earlier greater than equals to 1 by 2 and after insertion in any case it is not going to be decrease, because number of elements we are increasing. So, we are increasing on number of elements which is actually we can say we are increasing on the numerator if we talk about the term alpha, which is num of t by size of t. So, alpha will remain greater than equals to 1 by 2 and this is what we have already seen both the cases. That means, in this situation one case will be there that it is going to trigger the expansion and one case is there in which it is not going to trigger the expansion, and both the cases we have seen, and for both the cases the amortized cost comes up to 3 and these two cases are actually we can say already covered. Now, coming to the second case in which alpha was less than 1 by 2 before ith operation. Ith operation is insertion as of now here. So, alpha I minus 1 is less than 1 by 2 and alpha I will remain less than remained less than 1 by 2. That means, it is not changing the we can say category. Yes. So, just to recall the formula of amortized cost, actual cost plus potential difference. Potential difference is phi of I minus phi of I minus 1. Now here we need to look upon phi of I and phi of I minus 1, and yes, the actual cost is for insertion is obviously 1. So phi of I is going to give me Si by 2 minus Ni. Now why this value? Because please recall that we have changed the calculation of load factor for the situations when load factor is less than 1 by 2. It is different from for when the load factor is greater than equals to 1 by 2, and when the load factor is less than 1 by 2, calculation of potential function has been changed. Now we have two separate categories. So for less than, when my alpha I minus 1 is less than 1 by 2, that means before ith operation, that means before that particular insert operation, my load factor is less than 1 by 2. That means my table is kind of less than half full, we can say. So here it is going to be Si by 2 minus Ni, which is a term in the bracket, and that is a term for phi of I. Now for phi of I minus 1, we have S of I minus 1 by 2 minus Ni minus 1. Now please understand here what actually is happening. Here we can say number of elements, yes, it is going to be increased by 1, but size is similar. That means S of I is equals to S of I minus 1, we can say. So if we perform this calculation and also looking at n of I minus 1, that means before insertion the number of elements. So before insertion the number of elements is equals to 1 lesser than the number of elements after insertion. So that is why if you can see the last term, which is n of I minus 1, n of I minus 1 has been replaced by n of I minus 1 in the whole, and if you as and when you open the bracket, the signs will get changed. So now we have 1 for the actual cost, Si by 2 minus Ni for phi I, then minus of S of I minus 1 by 2 plus Ni minus 1 for the term phi I minus 1. So here is a simple calculation. Now if you can see the constant terms of 1 is going to get cancelled. Si by 2 is essentially equals to Si minus 1 by 2. So one term is positive, another one is negative, this is going to get cancelled, and then at 1 earlier we have minus of Ni, then we have plus of Ni. So all these terms we can say get cancelled, and we are going to get 0 as the amortized cost. So 0 as the amortized cost means that this operation comes for free, no need to spend anything from the potential. Our potential is going to remain intact if we are going to perform an insertion operation in which the load factor before insertion was less than 1 by 2 and load factor after insertion was also less than 1 by 2. So that operation comes for free, no need to spend anything from the accumulated potential. Cool. Coming to the scenario where ith operation is an insertion operation, because we are presently discussing insertion operation, and this is changing the category. Changing the category means alpha I minus 1, that is load factor before the ith operation is less than 1 by 2, but the moment we perform ith operation it is going to go greater than equals to 1 by 2. So now the category of alpha has been changed, category of load factor has been changed from less than 1 by 2 to greater than 1 by 2. Now why I am insisting on this change of category? Because when my alpha is less than 1 by 2, I am having a different calculation of potential function, which is twice of number minus size. But when I am talking about alpha less than 1 by 2, so I am having a different calculation. So for alpha greater than equals to n by 1 by 2, I am having twice of n minus s, while for alpha less than 1 by 2 I am having s of 2 minus n. So, this is the condition, that is why I am insisting upon this change. Now, coming up to the we can say amortized cost. So, amortized cost is again actual cost plus potential difference. So, potential difference is phi of I minus phi of I minus 1. Now, please keep in mind that phi of I is greater than equals to 1 by phi of I is a condition where alpha is greater than equals to 1 by 2, while phi of I minus 1 is a condition when alpha was less than 1 by 2, and we have put in up the terms or calculations of phi I and phi of I minus 1 accordingly. So, looking at this 1 which is for the actual cost plus phi of I gives you 2 of n of I minus s of I as a standard formula, minus the bracketed term is accounting for phi of I minus 1. So, phi of I minus 1 says s of I minus 1 by 2 minus n of I minus 1, because now my potential function is that time the potential function was less than 1 by 2. So, we have put in up it accordingly. So, now looking at, we can say my n of I, now n of I is actually equals to n of I minus 1 plus 1, because we are actually increasing one element after ith operation. So, the number of elements after ith operations, which is n of I, is equals to number of elements before ith operation plus 1. So, that term we have put in up for n of I, then rest all the terms are kept as it is. So, we have got 1 plus 2 into n of I minus 1 plus 2 minus s of I minus s of I minus 1 by 2 plus n of I minus 1. When we open the bracket, the minus sign is going to change the sign of all other terms which are present inside. So, simple calculation. Now, we can say accumulating the similar terms, we have 3 plus 3 n of I minus 1 minus 3 s of I minus 1 by 2. Now, here how it comes to 3 s of I minus 1 by 2, because there is no change in the size, that is why we can say s of I is equals to s of I minus 1. So, we have accumulated the term s of I minus 1 by replacing s of I with s of I minus 1, and by this simple calculation we can say this is going to be less than 3. So, another 2 steps is going to give you less than 3, which makes 3 plus 3 n of I minus 1 minus, we can say 3 by 2 s of I minus 1, which is essentially less than 3 plus 3 of s of I minus 1 by 2 minus 3 s of I minus 1 by 2. So, here what have we done? We have changed the term n of I minus 1 into s of I minus 1 divided by 2 by the we can say formula. So, here we have the amortized cost as less than 3. So, amortized cost less than 3 means if we are going to charge 1 or 2 per operation, it is going to work fine. That means it is not going to we can say hamper your potential, or it is not going to affect your potential much, because potential has to be positive all the time. Now, these were the cases when we were discussing insertion operation. Now, looking at, let us say ith operation is deletion, and in deletion we will also see all those 3 cases when the load factor was greater than 1 by 2, it remained greater than 1 by 2. When the load factor was less than 1 by 2, it remained less than 1 by 2, and when the load factor changes its category. So, now case the next case, case 4 says alpha I minus 1, which is the load factor, was greater than 1 by 2 before the deletion operation, before the ith operation, and after ith operation it remained in the same category. That means it is greater than 1 by 2. So, here we need not to put two different formulas for potential function. So, potential amortized cost is going to be equals to actual cost plus potential difference, which is, you know, by some simple terms we can say 1 plus 2 n of I minus s of I minus 2 n of I minus 1 minus s of I minus 1, and this is coming up to minus 1. This is the case we have also you know, seen before coining up the next formula or a different formula of potential function for alpha less than you know, 1 by 2. So, when we were considering alpha greater than 1 by 2 and less than 1 by 2 with similar potential function, this analysis we have already, you know, we can say we are done with. Now, coming to the condition where alpha is changing the category. So, the earlier load factor before the ith operation, the load factor which is alpha I minus 1 was greater than equals to 1 by 2, while by performing the deletion, now my alpha I has become less than 1 by 2. Now, we need to look for this calculation a bit carefully. Standard formula for amortized cost, phi of I. So, phi of I is going to be you know, the potential function we can say after ith operation. After ith operation is having a load factor of less than 1 by 2. So, the formula says Si by 2 minus of Ni minus in the bracketed term we have the value of phi I minus 1. Phi I minus 1 was is the potential where when alpha I minus 1 was greater than 1 by 2. So, 2 into n of I minus 1 minus s of I minus, we have just put in the values. Now, let us see what we can do, you know, what changes, what tweaking we can do in values. So, 1 plus Si by 2 as it is in the next statement or in the next you know, next step, then n of I can be returned as n of I minus 1 minus 1, because deletion is going to give you one element less than that. So, value of n of I has been put in up and we have got minus n of I minus 1 plus 1, because the negative sign will be changed because of the minus term, and then we have, you know, simple put in up the values where s of I minus 1 has been replaced by s of I, because there is no, you know, we can say change in the size with this deletion operation. And then we have, you know, by adding the constants we have 2 3 Si by 2 minus 3 and I minus 1. So, Ni minus 1 is equals to Ni minus 1, that value has been put in here again. So, we have 2 plus 3 into Si by 2 minus 3 of Ni minus 3, and this is again is going to be equals to minus 1, and these, you know, conditions we have seen when my Ni by Si is less than 1 by 2 and Ni is less than Si by 2. So, this is the situation. Now, let us say, to be very particular, when my alpha I minus 1 is equals to 1 by 4. So, the earlier we have seen the alpha I is greater than equals to 1 by 2. Now, we have seen the alpha I minus 1, that means the you know, load factor before the deletion operation is exactly 1 by 4. So, please try to connect the dots. What is going to happen whenever we perform deletion in this situation? It is going to give you the load factor alpha as less than 1 by 4. So, load factor alpha less than 1 by 4, you know, we encounter it, it is going to trigger a contraction. So, for that contraction thing, we are going to have what? We are going to have S of I is equals to S of I minus 1 by 2, because the size is in a way halved now. N of I we can say is equals to S of I minus 1 by 2. Yes, this is true. That means the number of elements after ith operation is equals to size of the element before ith operation by 2, and this is very evident. While please remember, the actual cost is not going to be 1 here. Actual cost is going to be equals to n of I plus 1, because we are moving the whole table from the old structure to the new structure. That means we are moving all the elements of the table from old to the newer table. So, C of I is equals to n of I plus 1. Putting in all these values into the standard equation of amortized standard calculation of amortized cost, we are going to get 1 plus n I, which is for C I. Then for phi of I we have S I by 2 minus n of I, while for phi of I minus 1 we are going to have S of I minus 1 by 2 minus n of I minus 1. So, that means the earlier we can say your alpha I minus 1 was equals to 1 by 4, and after deletion it is going to less than even 1 by 4, but the category of the alpha is actually less than 1 by 2. So, because of that we have put in the same formula for phi of I and phi of I minus 1, and for some simple calculations we can say the amortized cost for this particular deletion operation is going to be 1. Now, coming to the last case in which alpha of I minus 1, that means before the deletion operation it was less than 1 by 2, and after deletion operation it was obviously less than 1 by 2, but it is we can say greater than 1 by 4. So, the case which we have seen previous makes alpha I equals to 1 by 4. Here alpha I is very well less than 1 by 2, but it could be less than 1 by but it could be more than 1 by 4 also. So, putting in up the simple terms 1 plus S I by 2 minus n I minus S of I minus 1 by 2 plus n of I minus 1, we are just rearranging the terms and we have got 2. So, we can say amortized cost for deletion is at most 2, which is order 1 under all the cases. So, here what is the result which is being established, that amortized cost of each of the operation is bounded above by the constant, and for any sequence of n operations, whether it is going to consider the insertion operation or the deletion operation, the sequence of n operation is going to have a cost of order n for the sequence and order 1 for per operation. This is what we are talking about amortized cost. So, here these are the results which are established with obviously yes the different potential function calculation for when alpha is greater than 1 by 2 and when alpha is less than 1 by 2. So, that means for these kinds of amortized analysis we need to tweak a bit our strategy of contracting and expanding the tables. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you.